Namaste. Myself Sachidanand, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Buddha Institute of Technology. So, as in the continuation of study of materials engineering, now we reached on which behalf we were talked about the various kind of structures, crystal structures, why these crystal structures are working, why these particular things are working, why this particular structure means. So we were talked about in our previous classes that the crystal structure, the structure related to the properties of the material, and these structures are defined by the very atomic level, their atomic level and the crystal level structures by which the various properties of the material is defined. So we are just in this lecture we are only focusing on the mechanical properties of the various material. What are these mechanical properties? We are just taking a brief introduction of these mechanical properties, about the properties basically. So it is required just because we discuss lots of crystal structure. On that we have these property need to be correlate. So that's why I am taking this lecture for relating that particular thing, as we talked in previous classes about the various kind of defects. That defect basically in the line defect, that is the stretching from one place to the another place, that is the edge dislocation and the screw dislocation. How that screw and edge dislocation is working. So the various properties of the material is happening. So on that behalf we talked about also the vacancies, the point defects, line defect and the surface defects. So on that behalf we are just focusing now today in today's lecture, that is the mechanical properties. So what is the mechanical properties and how it works? So let's begin with that. What are the mechanical properties and what is the importance of that particular thing? So basically the mechanical property is related to the mechanical strength of the material, and how this strength is defining, that is defining by the various kind of loads. Basically mechanical property relatively you can say the mechanical property means the kind of a load which is bear by that particular material, and that is how that loading is identified by the various properties, and how these properties are classified, and how these properties are identified by the various kind of testing, and can be categorized by examination of this particular property by the various kind of testing methods. For examine to fulfill the requirement of any component of the material which will work as a component at a particular location and to do work according to their working condition. So we are talking about the mechanical property, the mechanical strength of the material. Basically we are talking about the metals. Now that the mechanical is related to the metals, now how the mechanical property impact on the mechanical strength of that particular material, that when we apply some kind of a load on that particular material, how that particular material will behave, and that behavior is correlated to their crystal structure, atomic structure property, atomic structure. So as we discussed that the structure is correlated to the property, and now we are focusing on that one property. In the later class we will expand these things in detail with the various you can say with the examples and the various daily life practices also. So till now we are just focusing on the mechanical property, how it works and how we are defining these for the particular metals, that when we apply some kind of external load on it, how that material tends to behave according to that and sustain themselves in that working condition to fulfill the requirement of that particular product. So in first mechanical property, a very known, the hardness. As I told you earlier in the classes, the hardness is the property of the material that resists to be formed the indentation or resistant to scratching. As we discussed that in the later class, that if I have a chalk and I writing on this on the blackboard. So who is losing their resistance to deformation means that that particular thing is less hardened than the board. That why we are when we scratching on that particular board, that resistance power of the board providing the impact on that chalk, and due to the less hardness of this chalk as compared to that particular blackboard, it is start deforming themselves and providing an impression on that particular blackboard. So that is how the hardness is defined. Or suppose if we take a sharp knife metal edge and we scratch on the particular blackboard, so what will happen if that particular knife is harder than the particular board, the scratch mark on the board will appear. That means that is the defining of that particular hardness of the particular material, and that is how we define that particular hardness by the various scenarios that are the indentation, and we are indenting something, they are pushing some pressure on something, that providing some kind of impression on it. Suppose एक तरह से अगर हम कहें तो इंडेंटेशन की अगर हम बात करें तो धसाने वाला काम जो होते हैं, हिंदी में एक वर्ड होता है धसाना। अगर आप सिंपल घर में आटे को लेंगे, जो गुथा हुआ आटा है उसके अंदर अगर आप उंगली डालोगे, दैट इज कॉल्ड द इंडेंटेशन। तो वो काम एक तरह से हम हार्डनेस को पता कर सकते हैं। सो वो तो आटे की बात है, लेकिन हम बात कर रहे हैं हार्डनेस की, तो मेटल की बात कर रहे हैं। तो मेटल में उंगली डालेंगे तो ऑब्वियसली मेटल धसेगा नहीं, तो उसमें कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें होनी चाहिए जो पर्टिकुलर उसके अंदर धस सके, और उस धसने के हिसाब से ही पर्टिकुलर हार्डनेस का पता चलेगा कि कितना हार्ड है वो मटेरियल। और दूसरा सिनारियो क्या है, द सेकेंड वन इज द स्क्रैच, दैट हाउ दैट पर्टिकुलर मेटल इज स्क्रैच रेजिस्टेंस। As we are talking about the hardness of that particular, you can say the tempered glass which you are providing on your mobile phone. So it is scratch free resistance. Okay, so what is happening when we are scratching something on it, it resists that scratch. It means it have some kind of a hardness to resist that particular impact on their surface. So that is how the hardness is defined by that scratch. And the second is the rebound, that is how the sectioning is working. So indentation hardness is of particular interest to engineer and is most commonly used. That if we are checking the hardness of any metal, we need to indent something on it, and if it poses or it resists something, that is how it is calculated by the meters, by the hardness machines. They are the various kind of machine. We will discuss later how we are identifying the hardness. But in the first scenario, we will only focus how the hardness is to be identified by the various kind of definitions. That how you will identify that is the particular hardness we need to find out. So indentation hardness can be measured by the different metal and is classified based on how it is to be measured. So how we need to find out how the hardness is to be identified and how that indentation is taking place in that particular metal or the material, that the hardness is to be defined. So there are the various kind of hardness machines or the processes by which we can identify the hardness on a material. So this is the basic scale on which we are scaling the hardness of that particular thing. We will come to this on the later classes. But now there are the various kind of hardness procedure by which we are identifying these things. So there are the different kind of hardness tests. These are the Rockwell hardness test, Brinell hardness test, Knoop-Wicker hardness test, or superficial hardness test. So these are the classification of hardness test according to the thickness, according to the load which will apply on the material. We categorize these hardness tests. So on the very basics of defining the hardness, that is the first one is the Rockwell hardness test, which is very most common hardness test we use for identifying the hardness of a metal, and which is used by the indentation process. So in this type of test, depth of indentation at a constant load is taken as the measure of the hardness. So a minor load of 10 kilogram is the first applied for good contact between the indentator and the sample surface. So there is a procedure, that is how the indentation is to be taken care and how we need to identify the indentation. As you can see in the figure, the process is applied as we place some material on which we need to identify that particular hardness. So what we are doing, we are just putting that, as you can see in the very left, that is the Rockwell hardness machine. This Rockwell hardness machine is showing here. So this is the anvil and this is the indentator. This is the you can say the dial indicator, and this is the particular thing. That the thing is the indenter. That is called the indenter, which provide the indent. जो चुभाने का काम है, ये पर्टिकुलर ये जो चीज़ है, ये पर्टिकुलर चीज़ ये यहाँ पे लगी हुई है, इंडेंटर उसको बोलते हैं, और ये है एनविल. दिस इज कॉल्ड द एनविल, अ सपोर्टिंग बेस ऑन विच द वर्क पीस इज टू बी प्लेस्ड, दैट इज द वर्क पीस. सो हम करते क्या है, बहुत ही बेसिक सा एग्जाम्पल है. आप जब कभी प्रैक्टिकल करेंगे इसके बारे में तो आपको दिखेगा. और वेरी बेसिक रॉकवेल हार्डनेस टेस्ट. सो दिस इज द डायल इंडिकेटर एंड दिस इज द एनविल. दिस इज द एनविल and this is the workpiece on which we need to identify this particular hardness. So what is doing we are doing, we just place that particular material on the anvil and just tighten to just touching the tip of that particular indenter. As it is written here, it is the type of the test, depth of indentation at a constant load is to be taken. So first what we are doing, we just touching that point and applying the minor load of 10 kilogram. That is the by the default process. If we tight that particular thing, if we tight that particular anvil, it will just touch that particular indenter, and the load of minor, when we tight that thing and it stop rotating, that means we applied a minor load. And then we set the dial indicator into the 0. That means the precision need to be taken care. And then we apply the major load is applied and the depth of indentation is recorded on the dial gauge. So after applying that load, we are tightening again that particular anvil, and when it start moving in the dial indicator, it means that the load is totally applied on that thing. And from the dial indicator, the dial consists of 100 division, each division representing the penetration depth of 0.002 mm. So that is how we identify that particular thing, and it is shown here. You can see this is the workpiece. This is the workpiece which is placed here. That is that workpiece, and that indenter is placed here. That indenter is here. We just touch it by the minor load, that is of the 10 kilo. That is of the 10 kilo, and when we applied that particular thing, we move that particular dial indicator into the 0 position, and then we applied a major load of 100 kilo. That is the major load which we are applying. Right, when we applied that load, after applying we again tightening that particular thing, and after tightening the load, the load which are applying on that particular, the penetration, the indentation which is applying on that material is showing by this particular dial indicator. So that the indicator moving, that particular things is moving in that particular scale, and that particular scale is defined by the C scale, B scale, H scale, and so on. We will enlarge in detail these things. So this is how, this is a very simple hardness test to be identified. करना क्या है, एक वर्कपीस लेना है, उसको एनविल पे रखना है और एनविल को ऊपर करना है, टाइट करना है कि वो इंडेंटर तक टच हो जाए. राइट, जब इंडेंटर पे टच होगा इट मीन्स 10 किलो का माइनर लोड लग गया उसके ऊपर. और जो डायल इंडिकेटर में मूवमेंट होता है सुई का, उस सुई को हम क्या करेंगे, फिर डायल इंडिकेटर को जहाँ पे सुई रहेगा उसको ले जाके डायल इंडिकेटर को 0 पे सेट कर देंगे. इट मीन्स कि हमने प्रिसाइजली उसको सेट कर दिया. अब क्या करेंगे, मेजर लोड लगाएंगे और उस पर्टिकुलर चीज़ को फिर एनविल को हम टाइट करना शुरू करेंगे. तो क्या होगा, जो डायल इंडिकेटर है वो मूव करना शुरू करेगा, जो सुई है उसकी तो जब एक टाइम लगेगा कि अब मूवमेंट कम हो गया, इट मीन्स कि इसका जो मैक्सिमम पेनिट्रेशन है, जितना वो मटेरियल रजिस्ट कर सकता था पेनिट्रेशन को उस पर्टिकुलर इंडेंटर के, वो वहाँ पे पेनिट्रेट करके रुक जाता है। और जो भी स्केल आता है, सी स्केल, बी स्केल, एच स्केल पे हम लोग को आइडेंटिफाई करना, तो मैं स्केल के बारे में आपको बाद में बताऊँगा क्या इसका मीनिंग है, इट विल टेक अ टाइम। सो वहाँ पे हम उससे आइडेंटिफाई कर लेते हैं कि इस पर्टिकुलर डिवीजन से कितना ये पर्टिकुलर हार्डनेस इस मटेरियल का आइडेंटिफाई हो पा रहा है। सो दिस इज हाउ द रॉकवेल हार्डनेस टेस्ट इज टू बी आइडेंटिफाइड। सो दिस इज द पर्टिकुलर, एज आई टोल्ड यू, that is the examined by on the scale behalf. So there are the two type of indenter. One is 120-degree diamond cone and called the barrel indenter, and 1.6 and 3.2 mm diameter steel ball. The steel ball is using in the Brenner hardness test. Just because the load which is applying in the Brenner hardness is larger than the Rockwell hardness. The load which is applying in the Brenner hardness is 300 kilogram to 3000 kilogram. So that's why we are using the steel ball. But below there, we are utilizing the 100 kilogram of load as per the thickness of the material. We are utilizing this 120-degree dial indicator cone, that is called the Brill indenter. So these are the two kind of indenter which we are utilizing for making for identifying the hardness in the material. And the combination of indenter and the major load give the rise to the different hardness scale, that is defined by the B scale and the C scale. So Brill indenter 150 किलो का जो लोड लगेगा, designated RC range, RC20, RC70, used for hard material like hardened steel. And we are using the B scale, B steel ball indenter 100 kilo load, written for the RB range and RB0 to RB100. For the minor load, RC and RB scale 10 to 3 kilogram respectively. These are the, don't be confused by this particular loading system. But if we are talking about this particular steel ball and the diamond cone ball, that will depend upon the how much load you are applying on that particular scale. But in the very basic kind of a Rockwell hardness test, keep in mind we are utilizing the diamond cone, and in the Brenner hardness test we are utilizing the steel ball. So as I told you, we talked about, as you can see in the figure, that is the cone system in that particular indenter. That is the cone, that is the diamond cone on the 120 degree, right? That is showing in the hardness test. Now we are talking about the Brenner hardness. Why we are utilizing the steel ball in it? Because the load which we are applying on the particular things are very higher. So if we are applying that kind of load, it means the material thickness is also higher. That's why if we are applying that load, na? So that is how these things are happening. So indentation is done with 10 mm diameter steel ball, so that the diameter of the steel ball utilizing according to the thickness of the material. The higher the thickness, the higher the dimension of the ball, and higher the load carrying capacity. So a load of 3000 kilogram or 500 kilogram for the softer material is applied for 10 to 30 seconds. So that is the 3000 I am telling you, that is the maximum range. That is from the 300 kilogram to 3000 kilogram. According to the thickness, जो मोटाई होगी particular material की, उसके thickness के, उसके मोटाई के हिसाब से हम उसके ऊपर लोड को अप्लाई करेंगे, और उसी के बिहाफ पे हम इंडेंटर डिफाइन करते हैं। जो भी घसाने वाला यंत्र होता है, चाहे वो बॉल इंडेंटर हो, चाहे वो डायमंड इंडेंटर हो, चाहे वो ब्रिनल में यूज़ कर रहे हो, चाहे वो हार्डनेस में यूज़ कर रहे हो। सो ब्रिनल और रॉकवेल को डिफाइन करने के दो तरीके हैं कि जो लोड उस पर अप्लाई हो रहा है, दैट इज द हायर इन द ब्रिनल एंड द लोअर इन द रॉकवेल। And the dia of the indentation is measured to obtain the hardness, Brenner hardness number from the relationship. So that is the defined by this particular point, that is the P is the applied load diameter, D is the maximum diameter of the wall, as you can see in the figure, D is the dia of the indentation, how that particular indent and their cup impression. So one thing I want to tell you in that particular Brenner hardness is what is happening when we are applying the certain load. Sometimes it breaks down the material, and that's why it is indicated in the destructive testing. Sorry, I forgot the one thing, that these particular mechanical testings are coming into the category of destructive testing materials, destructive testings, which means that the material which are utilizing for testing for the various tests for the various property will not reuse. मतलब ये है कि अगर जो हम मटेरियल को यूज़ कर ऑब्वियसली इसके मैकेनिकल स्ट्रेंथ को यूज़ करने जानने के लिए हम लोग कर रहे हैं, तो उसके मैक्सिमम लिमिट को जानेंगे। तो मैक्सिमम लिमिट कब जानेंगे? जब तक वो टूट ना जाए। तो जब टूट जाएगा तो फिर से उस मटेरियल को हम रीयूज नहीं कर पाएंगे। एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे आर कैटेगराइज्ड इन द डिस्ट्रक्टिव टेस्टिंग मटेरियल, डिस्ट्रक्टिव टेस्टिंग। एंड there is another kind of a testing we will discuss in later, don't be confusing। अभी मैं इसको नहीं बताऊंगा, नहीं तो आप कंफ्यूज होना शुरू हो जाएंगे। so just these particular testings are come into the category of destructive testing, where we are destruct that material up to their maximum limit and that cannot be reused, that particular material cannot be reused and it is only used as a scrap material। इसको हम रीयूज नहीं कर पाएंगे। जो भी मटेरियल इस पर्टिकुलर टेस्ट में यूज़ होंगे उनको हम रीयूज नहीं कर पाएंगे कि भाई इसमें से निकाल लिया फिर उसको पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट को बनाने के लिए प्रोडक्ट के लिए यूज़ कर देंगे या फिर उसको वहाँ पे लगा देंगे। ऐसा नहीं होगा। क्यों नहीं होगा? क्योंकि ये जो मैकेनिकल टेस्ट है, अगर हम इसकी मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेंथ को नहीं जानेंगे कि कितना लोड लगाने पे वो बेंड कर जा रहा है, कितने लोड लगाने पे वो टूट जा रहा है, तो हम उस मटेरियल की मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेंथ को नहीं जान पाएंगे। तो इसीलिए उसके इतना लोड लगाया जाता है कि मटेरियल अपनी मैक्सिमम लिमिट को जान सके और हम उसको आइडेंटिफाई करने के बाद उस मटेरियल को पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट के लिए आइडेंटिफाई कर सकें। एंड दैट इज हाउ द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल आर वर्किंग अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर वर्किंग कंडीशन, एंड दैट्स हाउ दिस प्रिसीजन नीड टू बी टेकिंग केयर, एंड दैट इज व्हाई दिस पर्टिकुलर testings are defined in that particular destructive testing। destructive मतलब तोड़ देना, तबाह कर देना। so that's why they are categorized in that category। so this is another kind of BHN, Brunner hardness number, varies from that particular diameters। now we are talking about, as I told you earlier, there are the different kind of a test of hardness test, that is the loop and Vickers test। that's the, now third one is the Vickers test। why we choose that particular Vickers test? so Vickers test is used as a square base or the diamond pyramid indicator having an angle of 136 degree between the opposite face, and this approximate ideal d by d ratio, that is for the in the Brunner hardness test। so the hardness called the DPH or VHN, the diamond pyramid hardness number of Vickers hardness number, is obtained by dividing the load by 1 to 120 kilogram। it is very utilizing with the surface of that particular indentation, and the surface area is calculated from that diagonal length of the impression। so this Vickers hardness test is utilizing for the thin steel plates, not the thick, not we are, as you can see the indentation, that the degree of that particular indentation, angle of that particular thing is increasing now, they are very narrow, so they are only utilizing for that particular kind of a material which are very less in the thickness। now the next is the micro hardness। sometimes the hardness determined is needed overall a very small area। why? For example, hardness of carbonized steel surface coating or individual faces or constituents of the material। so why these particular hardnesses are identified by this Vickers hardness and micro hardness we required when we check that particular hardness of that particular material according to the thickness। so if we talk about watch, wrist watch, there is a combination of gears, a very thin steel sheets are used for making that particular gear, and as you know the watch is very small, so that thing is very small, and the thickness of that particular material is also small। so for that kind of a material, to identify that kind of thickness or hardness of that particular thickness material, we need to find out these hardness by these particular tests, and this is the micro hardness test by which we can identify these particular things। so the load applied is much smaller compared to the micro hardness, the indentation is very small, and optical microscope is used to observe it। sample preparation is needed, two methods are used for the micro hardness testing, that is the loop test and the Vickers test, as I told you earlier. So loop test, that is for these. Now we are applying the load in the gram. Why in the gram? Because the thickness of the material is very less. Just that material is used in the wristwatch for making a gear by which the arrangement of that particular watch is moving. So that particular loop indentation, indenter is a diamond pyramid indenter produce diamond shaped indentation with long and short diagonal length in the ratio of 7:1. So the hardness is called the loop hardness number KHN and is obtained by dividing the load 25 to 300 gram. Can you imagine how minor load these are? 25 से 300 ग्राम तक के लोड को हम लोग अप्लाई करते हैं, तो वो लोड कहाँ पे अप्लाई होगा? ऑब्वियसली उतने पतले थिकनेस मटेरियल के ऊपर अप्लाई होगा. सो जैसे जैसे हमें रिक्वायरमेंट होती है वैसे वैसे चीज़ों को हम बना लेते हैं अपने हिसाब से, एंड दैट इज वाई वी रिक्वायर दैट पर्टिकुलर थिकनेस आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑन दैट फॉर द रिस्ट वॉच गियर. सो we identify, we find out that particular test. So with that project, the surface area of the indentation is to be identified. And now for this particular moment, the Vickers test, this is the same as Vickers except the applied load which is much smaller than 1 to 100 gram. So that is how we categorize this according to the load applying on it. The both system are same, but they are all categorized according to the load applying on it, and their load or applying according to what? According to the thickness of the material. How thick that material? How thick that material? कितना मोटा मटेरियल है और कितना ही पतला मटेरियल है, उसके हिसाब से हम लोड को डिफाइन करेंगे और उसी के बिहाफ पे इस तरह के हमने हार्डनेस टेस्ट को आइडेंटिफाई किया. Now the next property is called the tensile property, as I told you in the last lecture, in the previous lecture about the tensile load, that we are applying the particular things, the load, the stress which is load applying on the particular area, the stresses which is applying on the particular area, and due to which the change in length over original length is taking place, that is happening due to just tensile property. And how this property arises? It is just arise because the systematic arrangement of the crystal system, the defects which are applied, the defects which are provided in that particular system, the structure, the edge dislocation, the screw dislocation, the movement of the plane is taking place when we load, applying some certain load in a certain area, and the stretching of that particular crystal structure from one place to another place is providing the change in length over original length, and that is how this tensile property is defining. When we apply load in a different position of the particular material, the property of that particular material is to change their shape from one place to another, and that is how they are called the engineering stress and the engineering strain. So for understanding these things, we need to understand the elastic behavior and the plastic behavior of the material, and this is all identified as you study the Hooke's law. The stress is directly proportional to strain, or stress is equal to engineering strain. E is also known as elastic modulus. Sorry, that is the engineering strain and the elastic modulus. So all material deform when subjected to an external load. Obviously, as we are talking about the mechanical strength of the mechanical property, so we need to first keep in our mind, when we talked about the mechanical, we talked about the load. So how the material's load can be bear. So all material deform when subjected to an external load. लोड किसी भी तरीके से लगा सकते हैं, दोनों एंड से लोड लगा सकते हैं, अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में, दोनों एंड से एक सेम डायरेक्शन में लगा सकते हैं, एक्सियल लोड लगा सकते हैं, ट्विस्टिंग लोड लगा सकते हैं, एंड सो ऑन. So these particular things are happening. So up to a certain load, the material will recover its original dimension when the load is released, and this is how the elastic behavior is happening. As you already know, when we are applying a load on a rubber band, it regains its original shape. and that is how the elasticity is rise. The load up to which the material remain elastic is known the elastic limit, and the deformation of the load or the stress, this is known how the Hooke's law is applied, and that is called the elastic modulus. And when the load is extreme to the elastic limit, that is called the proportional limit, right? The deformation produced is permanent, and this is called the plastic deformation. That is, Hooke's law is no longer valid to the plastic region. Means that is stress is strain directly proportional to strain. What is happening here? It crosses their limit and change their state from the plastic elastic region to the plastic region. So we will study this thing by the tensile test. The load is applied uniaxially in the tensile testing frame, and the displacement is recorded. The stress and the strain are derived using the equation 1 and 2, that is later on. And the stress is plotted against the strain to generate the stress strain curve, and different properties are calculated from this particular curve. So how this particular tensile test is applying and how the tensile strength of that particular metal is to be identified. So as you can see in the figure, there is a dumbbell shaped particular material is locating here. So it is as per the ASTM standard, we create this kind of dumbbell shaped metal. We provide the shape to that particular material, and what we are doing, we are providing the opposite direction load by fixing this material part in a UTM machine, that is called the universal testing machine. Why it is so called universal testing? Because it applied lots of loads in the various directions. So that's why it is utilizing. It is called the universal testing machine, and that is first very basic thing in doing in the tensile test. Means we are applying the load in the opposite direction. We fix that particular dumbbell in that particular jaw of the material, jaw of the particular machine. And after fixing this particular thing, we start applying the load. A very steady load which is applied by the machine starting, and the elongation of the material start. So that particular graph is showing the various properties, various stages from which this particular plastic deformation is taking place, and how we identify the maximum tensile strength of that particular material. So this particular is elastic region. As you can see, the load is stress is directly proportional to strain, and in that particular scenario, if we remove the load, the material will regain their shape. क्या होगा अगर वो मेटल ही है? अगर इस पर्टिकुलर P पॉइंट के नीचे है उसका अप्लाइंग लोड अगर हम लोग छोड़ देते हैं, तो वो पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल अपने शेप को फिर से रीगेन कर लेगा. And what happened when that particular things is escape that particular point? So that when we escape that particular thing, what is happening? The strain is arise. That means it crosses its elastic region and reach to the plastic region, and that is how this particular uniform strain is particular showing here. We will discuss the later classes how these particular things are working in the various detailing. So you can see here this region is the uniform region where the yielding of the material, the खिंचाव जो बोले मटेरियल का जो खिंचाव है, परमानेंट खिंचाव जो हो रहा है वो होना शुरू हो जाता है. तो ये होता कैसे है? तो जो आप देखोगे कि इस पर्टिकुलर ये मटेरियल जो बना हुआ है, ये पर्टिकुलर यहाँ पे अगर मटेरियल का हिस्सा है, तो इस मटेरियल के हिस्से में अनगिनत एटम्स होंगे, पर्टिकुलर लोकेशंस पे एटम्स फिक्स होंगे, राइट. अब जब लोड अप्लाई हो रहा है तो होगा क्या? खिंचाव बन कैसे रहा है? ये जो पर्टिकुलर एटम्स हैं वो करेंगे क्या? अपने आप को एडजस्ट करने की कोशिश करेंगे. भाई जब ये अपने आप को एडजस्ट करने की कोशिश करेंगे तभी तो ये पर्टिकुलर मूवमेंट हो पाएगा. किसी भी मटेरियल का मूवमेंट उसके एटॉमिक अरेंजमेंट्स में डिफाइन होता है. तो जब आप उसके ऊपर खिंचाव कर रहे हो तो उसके बीच के जो एटम्स हैं वो अपने आप को भी खींच रहे हैं, तो वो एक सर्टेन लेवल पे अपने आप को धीरे धीरे एडजस्ट कर रहे हैं. तो एडजस्ट करने पे धीरे धीरे हो क्या रहा है कि यील्डिंग हो रही है, चेंज इन लेंथ हो रहा है उसके. मटेरियल क्या होता है, एक टाइम के बाद अपने आप को अप्रिशिएट कर देता है, छोड़ देता है कि अब जो है हम कुछ कर नहीं पाएंगे, नाउ you have all the work to do anything. So the load is constant, and when the material appreciate themselves for the uniform strain, what is happening here? The thing, the shape which is taking place, the atoms which are in the uniform matter are start taking place, or you can say अपने आप को एक जगह पे संक्षिप्त करने का काम शुरू कर देते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि उनके ऊपर एक्सटर्नल लोड अप्लाई हो रहा है, उनको फोर्स किया जा रहा है कि वो अपने आप को खींचना शुरू करें। और यही खींचने का मतलब क्या है कि स्ट्रेचिंग होती है और इलांगेशन होना शुरू हो जाता है किसी भी मोटर। अपने लेंथ से, ओरिजिनल लेंथ से अपने इलांगेटेड लेंथ में उसका डिफॉर्मेशन होना शुरू हो जाता है। दैट इज हाउ दिस टेंसाइल टेस्ट इज वर्किंग। और जब उन पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल के पास स्पेस होना कम हो जाता है तो होता क्या है कि जब वो अपने अल्टीमेट टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ पे पहुंच जाता है, इस पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन पे पहुंच जाता है, तो नेकिंग स्टार्ट हो जाती है। मीन्स अब इन पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल्स के बीच में जो है जगह ख़त्म हो गई है, उनका स्पेस जो है वो उन्होंने ख़त्म कर दिया है और एक खाली सा स्पेस बनना शुरू हो गया। सॉरी, ये फिगर गड़बड़ हो गया, ये खाली सा सीधे फिगर बनना शुरू हो जाता है यहाँ पे। एंड दैट इज हाउ दीज थिंग्स आर शोइंग हियर। ऑल द एटम settled here, all the atoms settled here and left the space here by which the necking is taking place. As you can see, the diameter of that particular thing, the diameter of that particular thing, and the diameter of these particular things, and the final fracture is taking place. So it is just happening because the shifting of the atom from one place to another place, and after they don't get any space, they start losing themselves, their bond, and after losing their bond, they reach to their ultimate tensile strength, and there, from there, the necking of that particular material start, and the fracture of that particular material is taking place. This graph is showing too much time. Sorry. After the UTS, it can take place anywhere because it is a very fast process. The necking is very fast process, but it is showing the graphical to understand this thing. So that is how this particular section B is also. So the tensile properties, how it is defined? The EL is the elastic limit up to which the Hooke's law is valid. As you can see in your figure, that particular Hooke's law is valid. The material come back to original shape when the load is applied, that is the release, and the elastic limit is difficult to determine the proportional limit PL, the load at which the curve deviates from inertia is taken at the elastic portion. That's why this particular edges is to be find out for identify this particular proportional limit. And the slope of the linear region is the Young modulus, elastic modulus E, and the load beyond the PL produce the permanent deformation, that is the permanent or the plastic deformation. The onset point of the plastic deformation is known as yield stress. And in some material like the mild the yield point is prominent, as you can see in the figure first, that the yielding is started after the EL. And in many other metal and alloy, that particular yield, that is the yielding YS, and in the second figure, that yielding, right. So in such case, in many other metal and alloy, the yield point is not distinct. In such cases, that is showing in the figure B, a line parallel to the linear region, that is from the offset of 0.002, that is the 0.2%, and it is intercept the plastic region is taken place, and the yield distance, that is called the proof space, and it is shown here, that in this particular thing, or you can see in this particular region, that is the offset. Sorry, that particular offset is taking place from here, and that is how we calculate all these things. So we will discuss in detail. Today we are just focusing on the introduction. and that the strain up to UTS is in the uniform plane plastic strain. Beyond this, the cross section area reduces at the necking start place. As I told you, there is no space for the atom to adjust themselves in that particular material and to deforming according to the deformation. So that is the necking start and the fracture of that particular EF, the LF minus L naught by L naught, where the LF is the length after fracture is taking place, and that is how the ductility of that particular material is to be defined, and that is how the elastic limit of that particular material is to be identified. So the tensile property are also defined by these kind of things. That is not the things. Another things are the resilience, the ability of a material to absorb the energy in elastic region. This is given by the strain energy per unit volume. So that is called the resilience, which is happening in the vibration mode. And the toughness, the ability up to particular absorb energy in the plastic range. This is given by the total area under the stress strain curve. That is how the high resilience is a property required in the spring. As I told you, that absorb the energy in the elastic region, and that is why these things are happening. So for now we are stopping here, and we will start this from here for the next lecture. Thank you.